Welcome to the Scenario Podcast, your guide to mental health and well-being. Each episode, we uncover practical tools, discuss expert insights, and explore how supplements can transform your mental health journey. Get ready to learn, grow, and thrive with us.
Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're really diving into something crucial, right? Your brain's command center. We've got sources covering two sort of key angles. First, the practical stuff, nutrients, habits to keep your memory sharp.
Right, the physical side.
And then we pivot straight into understanding, well, phobias, those intense, sometimes paralyzing fears.
Yeah, exactly. And, we tend to think of the mind and brain as separate things sometimes, but they're totally linked.
Completely.
So our goal here is to give you some actionable strategies for mental clarity and a solid understanding of intense fear, how it works, how it's managed. It's about seeing how the physical brain affects, our emotional control.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it. So starting with the brain itself, the control center. Our sources really hammer home that it runs everything: thoughts, memory, emotions, actions.
Tireless, yeah.
But it needs upkeep, right? Like any complex machine. Yeah. And when things feel off, like brain fog or memory slips, it's often down to actual physical wear and tear. Things like stress, aging, and free radicals, definitely. Those are big culprits.
Explain that damage mechanism a bit more. It's not just vague wear, is it?
No, it's quite specific. It often targets the cell membranes. Think of them as the protective skin around your brain cells. They're vital for signals, communication between neurons.
Okay, the outer layer.
Exactly. And things like poor diet or those free radicals we mentioned cause what's called oxidative stress. It literally breaks down the fats in those membranes, lipid peroxidation.
Wow.
And that just slows everything down. Communication gets sluggish. So if you want better memory, better focus, you've got to protect those membranes.
Right, so membrane protection is key. What are the sourced defenses then? Let's talk nutrients. The first one that always pops up, especially for, older adults, is Ginkgo Biloba extract.
Ginkgo's famous for a reason, but maybe not the reason people think. It's less about directly fixing membrane damage itself, and more about boosting blood flow to the brain, cerebral circulation.
Okay, so better delivery service.
Pretty much. It helps ensure brain cells, especially in memory areas, get enough oxygen and fuel to work properly. That's why it's linked to alertness and focus, particularly as we get older.
Makes sense. But if we're talking direct protection for those membranes against those free radicals,
then you're looking at something like alpha lipoic acid, ALA.
Right, ALA. Why is that one considered such a powerhouse?
Well, ALA is it's a really interesting antioxidant. It's powerful because it works in both fatty and watery environments in the body.
Okay, versatile.
Very. Which makes it great at neutralizing those free radicals pretty much everywhere. But the really key thing for brain health: it can cross the blood-brain barrier.
Not many antioxidants can do that.
Exactly. So it can get right in there, into the brain itself, and protect the neurons directly. It's like having a bodyguard inside the command center.
That's a great analogy. Getting past the barrier is huge. Now, you often see these two, Ginkgo for flow, ALA for protection, maybe bundled with B vitamins in supplements.
Yeah, combination formulas are common. Which brings us to something really crucial from the sources, a big caution flag.
Okay, what's that?
You absolutely must talk to a doctor or healthcare expert before starting any new supplement. Seriously.
Even these natural ones.
Especially these. They can interact with medications you're already taking or affect existing health conditions. It's just not worth the risk without professional advice. Get it checked out first.
Absolutely critical advice. Okay, so supplements might offer targeted support, but let's talk daily habits. The compound interest, you could say.
Right.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
How do our everyday routines actually, mechanically help the brain perform better?
Okay, well, we just talked about cell membranes being made of fats, right? Fatty acids.
Yeah.
So pillar number one has to be nutrition. And not just eating healthy vaguely, we're talking specific brain foods.
Like what?
Leafy greens, nuts, berries are great, and especially fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines. They're loaded with antioxidants and those healthy omega-3 fats.
The building blocks for the membranes.
Precisely. You're literally giving your brain the raw materials it needs to build and protect itself and generate energy.
So you feed the structure, which links nicely to the next point. Exercise regularly. We know it's good for the heart, but lifting weights or going for a run, how does that boost focus?
The brain benefits are huge and almost immediate. Exercise increases something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor.
Okay, BDNF.
Think of it like fertilizer for your neurons. It improves blood flow, sure, but it also helps create new brain cells neurogenesis and strengthens the connections, the synapses. It genuinely keeps your mind fitter, sharper.
Fertilizer for the brain, I like that.
Mm.
Okay, and maybe the most overlooked maintenance. Sleep well. We hear 7 and 9 hours. But why is skimping so bad for memory?
Because sleep isn't just downtime, it's active, critical maintenance. During deep sleep, your brain works hard consolidating memories.
Locking them in?
Yeah, moving them from short-term temporary storage to long-term. And maybe even more importantly, it runs a cleaning cycle, the glymphatic system.
Cleaning cycle.
It flushes out metabolic waste products that build up while you're awake, including toxins like beta amyloid, which is linked to Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So cut sleep short, and you're basically impairing memory formation and letting damaging waste accumulate. Double whammy.
Okay, noted. Sleep is non-negotiable. Finally, the brain needs a workout too. Challenge your mind.
Absolutely. Like a muscle, you need to push it. But crucially, with novelty.
What do you mean by novelty?
Doing things that are new and complex for you. Learning a language, playing a new instrument, tackling difficult puzzles you haven't done before. These activities force your brain to create new connections, new pathways. That's neuroplasticity.
So doing the same crossword every day might not cut it after a while.
Exactly. It becomes routine. The challenge fades. You need that element of new learning to keep the brain adaptable and strong against decline.
Okay, so the physical side is clear. Feed it right, move your body, get enough sleep, and keep learning new things. Consistent care.
That's the foundation for clarity.
Now, let's pivot. We've talked about maintaining the physical structure. What about when the mind's own response system goes haywire? Let's talk phobias. Common type of anxiety disorder, right?
Very common. And the key word here, according to our sources, is irrational fear. That's the defining feature.
Irrational how?
It's an overwhelming, persistent fear, triggered by something specific, an object, a situation, whatever, that poses little or no actual danger. It's completely out of proportion.
So different from normal fear, like being scared of a bear chasing you.
Totally different. That's a survival instinct. A phobia might cause a full-blown panic attack just thinking about, say, getting on an elevator or seeing a spider across the room. The distress is intense, even when you logically know it's excessive.
What makes someone develop such an intense, specific fear? Often starts young, you said.
Yeah, often childhood or adolescence. And it's usually not just one thing. The sources point to a mix. There's genetics and brain chemistry. Some people are just, well, more prone to anxiety.
Nature.
Okay. Then there's nurture, or experience. Past trauma involving the trigger is an obvious one. But also, learned behavior. This is fascinating.
Learned how?
You might develop a severe dog phobia, not because a dog bit you, but because you watched, say, a parent react with sheer terror every time a small, harmless dog came near. Your brain learns that association. Dog equals extreme danger.
Wow, just by observing. That explains why they can feel so deeply rooted. Okay, let's break down the types. The most common are
Specific phobias. These are tied to one clear trigger, and they fall into a few main buckets, which helps learners understand them.
like what?
You've got fears about animals, spiders, snakes, dogs are classics. Then natural environment, fears heights, storms, water. Medical fears, needles, blood, dentists. And situational fears, flying, enclosed spaces like elevators, tunnels.
Okay, pretty clear categories.
And in all these, the person usually knows the fear is illogical, but they feel powerless to control it. So intense avoidance becomes the main strategy.
Right, just stay away from the trigger at all costs.
Now, moving beyond specific objects or situations, there's social anxiety disorder. How is that different from just being really shy?
Oh, it's a world apart. That distinction is crucial. Shyness is a personality trait, maybe some discomfort. Social anxiety disorder is the potentially crippling condition.
Crippling how?
It's not just feeling awkward. It's an intense, persistent fear of being judged, scrutinized, embarrassed, or humiliated by others in social or performance situations.
So things like public speaking?
Public speaking, yes, but also meeting new people, making small talk, even eating or drinking in front of others. The fear of negative evaluation can trigger panic attacks and lead people to avoid school, work, or any social interaction. It's about fear of humiliation, fundamentally.
That sounds incredibly limiting. And then the third main type, which sounds maybe the most complex, agoraphobia.
Yeah, agoraphobia is often misunderstood. The name means fear of the marketplace, but it's not really about open spaces themselves.
What's it about then? It's the fear of being trapped in a situation where escape might be difficult, or help wouldn't be available if they were to have a panic attack or other incapacitating symptoms. See the difference? The fear is of the panic happening in that place.
Okay. Fear of the fear, almost.
In a way, yes. So common triggers are places like crowded areas, public transport, bridges, shopping malls, or even just being outside the home alone. The fear is about being stuck and helpless during panic.
And that can lead to?
In severe cases, people become completely housebound. They avoid any situation that might trigger the fear of panic, which drastically shrinks their world.
So what does this all mean for someone living with a phobia? The avoidance sounds like it would create huge problems on its own.
Absolutely devastating effects. The constant worry, the planning to avoid triggers, it leads to intense isolation, it fuels anxiety, often spirals into depression.
And the physical side.
Even thinking about the phobic trigger can cause very real, very terrifying physical symptoms. Sweating, trembling, heart racing, shortness of breath, nausea. Even though they might know it's irrational, the body's alarm system is screaming danger. It's exhausting and limits life dramatically.
But, and this is important, our sources stress that these aren't life sentences.
Yeah.
Treatment works. Recovery is possible.
Definitely. Improvement is very achievable with the right approaches. There's solid evidence behind several treatments.
What are the main ones?
Well, first up is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's fundamental.
How does CBT help with something like a fear of spiders?
It helps you identify and challenge the negative, often catastrophic thoughts that fuel the fear. Like, if I see a spider, it will definitely jump on me and bite me and I'll die. CBT teaches you to examine those thoughts, see the distortions, and replace them with more realistic ones.
Okay, changing the thinking patterns.
And it also teaches practical coping skills to manage the anxiety when it does arise, breathing techniques, relaxation, that sort of thing.
Makes sense. What else? I know exposure therapy is a big one.
It is, and it's considered the gold standard, especially for specific phobias. It sounds intimidating, but it's highly effective when done properly.
How does it work? Gently, I hope.
Yes, it's gradual and systematic. You work with a therapist to create a hierarchy of feared situations, from least scary to most scary.
Like looking at a picture of a spider first.
Exactly. Maybe you start with a cartoon spider, then a photo, then maybe being in the same room as a spider in a sealed jar, all the way up to perhaps letting one crawl on your hand, but only if that's the goal, and done very carefully over time.
Wow. Okay.
The core idea is desensitization. By repeatedly confronting the feared thing in a safe, controlled way without the bad thing happening, your brain gradually learns the association is false. The fear response weakens. It essentially rewires the brain's reaction.
Facing the fear, literally, but safely. And finally, the role of support systems.
Hugely important. Phobias thrive in isolation and secrecy. Just learning about the condition helps demystify it. And getting support from family, friends, or joining a support group, it provides encouragement, accountability.
Helps you stick with challenging therapy like exposure.
Absolutely. Knowing you're not alone, that others understand, it makes a massive difference in breaking that cycle of avoidance and building confidence.
Okay. So we covered a lot today. We looked at physically supporting the brain nutrients like ALA, habits like sleep and exercise for clarity and function.
Right, the hardware maintenance.
And then we looked at managing the brain's psychological responses when they go into overdrive, like with phobias, using tools like CBT and exposure therapy.
Software updates, maybe? Yeah. And the big takeaway, if we connect this all together,
Go on.
is that mental well-being isn't passive. It needs this dual approach. You nurture the physical brain structure and you actively manage the mind's responses. It's about both physical health and psychological strategy working together. That's the path to a more empowered life, really.
A really powerful connection. Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over.
Okay.
We know that chronic stress and anxiety, the kind that often comes with untreated phobias, can actually cause physical damage through oxidative stress, harming brain cells much like free radicals do. So thinking about that, could proactively treating significant mental anxiety, like getting help for a severe phobia, be seen not just as treating a mental health issue, but as a vital preventative step for long-term cognitive health, almost like taking an antioxidant supplement?
Interesting parallel. Protecting the brain physically by managing psychological distress.
Something to think about. Food for thought until our next deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in to the Scenario Podcast. Don't forget to visit scenario.com for more expert tips, articles, and supplements designed to support your mental health. If you enjoyed this episode, remember to subscribe and share it with a friend. Until next time, take care of yourself.